Hey there, Dennis here with another one of these how do I do this stuff videos. Today, we're going to go into case prep. I'm going to show you my setup and the dies that I use and why I use them. Are you ready? Okay, here we go. All right, this is a Hornady lock and load progressive press. It's a fairly robust piece of equipment and operates, fully automatically. You run the uh, system up and down. Each time it goes, it rotates. There's a shell plate in here, and in this case, it's the #1 shell plate, which is used for 30-06, 308, 45 ACP, and 6.5 Creedmoor, 260 Remington. All this kind of stuff runs off the same case head. The standard bolt face is what they call it for 30 caliber and similar classification cartridges. It's been around since the turn of the beginning of the 20th century is when this case head first came about. And so for case prep, I have actually 4 dies that I use. And the first one of the nicer things about these Hornady lock and loads is they bayonet in and out. So this first die here is a universal decapper, and it's basically just a decap pin. It's made by Lee, and it's basically this thing works for pretty much any cartridge that I stick in here, because as you can see, there's very generous space inside that thing, and basically just punches out either small primers, large primers. It doesn't care, and that goes in station 1. Station 2 is a lube die. All right, these are RCBS lubrication dies. They have a little felt pad right there that lubricates the case. All right, and you fill them up through a little hole right here, and that's where the lube goes. And you use stuff right here, case lube #2, and put that stuff in there, and it basically lubricates the case as you are going along. You just stick them in there. The next die that comes about, I'm using my 308s in a semi-automatic rifle. So this is a small base body die, and this is another RCBS unit. No, this is a Redding unit, sorry. It's a Redding small base body die, and it is specifically for the 308. It bumps the shoulder, makes sure that the back end of the case, at the case head, is down to minimum dimension, makes it easier to feed in a semi-auto. You never have any trouble if you do this. I pretty much do this with all my brass that I run out of a semi-auto rifle, and out of bolt guns, actually, because they feed better, and you don't get bolt stickiness and all that kind of stuff. So I kind of like using them on everything. It does potentially decrease case life, but I'd rather have reliability over case life any day, particularly when you're in competition. The last thing you want is to not have that thing work. And then the last die in line is another Redding die. This is a Redding neck sizer die, and it is a collet die. The unit itself has inside it, there are a number of features that you have to put on these things. So inside it is a collet, or basically a specific sizing ring that is matched to the width of the case, so that you get the proper neck tension when you squeeze it in as part of sizing. So it sizes the neck specifically, and these things come in a variety of sizes, and so you wind up like here with a bunch of them, and depending on which brass you're using, you're going to use a different a different size to make sure that you get consistent neck tension on your brass. Another thing to note here is that this particular die you'll see here I've modified it by adding this little dealy right here, which is a carbide stem button that basically makes it so that when you extract the case back out of it, it rides on the carbide stem and is much easier to work on the brass. And the whole thing comes back together like so, and you can hear that collar is not completely in. That's because I don't want to squeeze the case all the way down to the bottom of the neck. I just want enough so that I get neck tension to where I want it on the case. All right, so that's how that all works, and I'll just show you a few of these things as they go through. Grab some cases here. So here's some cases. These are they've been fired, and the way this works is you just stick one of those suckers in there. It will go on the first stroke, decap. On the second stroke, it will lube. On the third stroke, it will go into the small base body die. On the fourth stroke, it will go into the neck sizer and come out on that carbide button. And that is it's a little bit tacky. All right, it's got lube on it, and you do these tons at a time. So in at full rate, I didn't put it completely in. At full rate, you put the first one in, put the second one in, put the third one in. We are now processing each one in turn. That's size brass. That's why I do it. And you can do it on a single if you want to, but this makes short work of processing brass, and you can get, after a match, you can basically get the stuff cleaned up. Depending on what kind of brass it is, you may need to anneal it every once in a while in order to keep the neck soft, but this particular stuff is once fired, so there's no need to do that. They can, as soon as they're finished being tumbled or washed, however you want to do it, they're ready to be primed and go back to work. Okay, that's the name of the game. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye.